Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show that extracts the essential knowledge and surprising insights from the sources you bring us, turning them into a concise, action-oriented conversation.
And today, we are diving straight into what can only be described as the annual glitter-strewn battlefield of Christmas.
I think we all know that battlefield.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about that huge gap between the magical, peaceful, Hallmark movie Christmas we all want and the exhausted, panicked, running out of clear tape reality we so often get.
I have lived that reality. I mean, truly. The one where you're up until 3 a.m. just frantically wrapping because you spent the entire day baking these incredibly complicated cookies, and then you discover your scissors are dull, and of course the clear tape is gone. That kind of exhaustion, it doesn't just drain your energy, it really drains the joy right out of the spiritual meaning of the season.
It does.
So our mission today is to give you the ultimate shortcut to cut through all that stress and make sure that the preparation actually serves the holiday, not the other way around.
Right. And our source for this deep dive is Kathi Lipp's just immensely practical and spiritually insightful guide. Get yourself organized for Christmas. Simple steps to enjoying the season.
Okay.
And she opens the whole discussion by just cutting through the noise and identifying two kinds of Christmas extremists.
Extremists. I like that.
Yeah. On one hand, you have the friend whose home looks like a museum exhibit, the one who needs a formal RSVP for cookie tasting.
I know that person.
We all do. And then on the other side, you have the person who just wants to huddle under a blanket and wait for January 1st to arrive, having made, no effort at all.
That framing is so necessary because I feel like most of us live somewhere in that stressed out middle, constantly comparing ourselves to both of those extremes.
Exactly. And Liv's whole mission is to help us move past the cultural shoulds and that anxiety of trying to do everything. She wants us to focus instead on what's really foundational. Faith, family, and friends. The goal is to ditch the emotional, the physical, and the relational clutter that gets in the way of any genuine connection.
So this isn't about becoming a perfectionist.
Not at all. This guide isn't about achieving Martha Stewart perfection. It's about achieving joy, peace, and establishing a plan for the entire holiday season. So you don't just collapse in exhaustion on December 26th feeling like you completely missed the point.
Right.
So we're going to be deep diving into the 21 simple projects she lays out and really distilling the absolute best strategies to make that happen.
And I know there's one story in particular from the guide that really serves as the, spiritual anchor for this whole system.
Yeah, it's really powerful. She shares the story of an author, Jill Davis, who went through a major life transition, a divorce. And she realized her old, very complicated traditions were just completely unsustainable.
A reality check.
A huge one. She had to reevaluate everything. So she simplified the entire holiday. She kept only 2 core traditions.
Just 2.
Just 2. The Advent calendar and making sugar cookies, that was it. Plus, pajamas and a new book on Christmas Eve. And she looked at the result of this radical simplification, and she realized something profound.
What did she say?
She said, instead of having a beautifully decorated home, fabulous things to eat, lots of Christmas presents, and a frantic mom, they now have an easygoing, low-key, lightly decorated Christmas with a very present mom.
Wow.
And then she says, life is better, Christmas is easier. We are all happier.
A very present mom, or a very present partner, or present host, or just a present friend, that really hits home. Organization in this context, it's not about sorting supplies. It's a spiritual tool to buy back that presence.
Yeah.
To move from being the taskmaster to just being a participant. And I think that is the mission we are absolutely pursuing today.
Let's do it. Let's start at the root of the whole holiday monster. Unexamined expectations.
Yes. The monster.
It's a monster. And we have this powerful ability to just forget last year's pain. We forget the cranberry cheese mold that sat untouched for 5 hours.
Oh, I've had one of those. Not cranberry, but definitely untouched.
Or the sheer misery of trying to get bakery-level results on, 16 different types of cookies. We just repeat the cycle driven by this inertia, hoping that somehow this year it'll be different.
That denial is the silent killer of holiday sanity. It really is. So Lipp insists we have to consciously deal with those expectations before they turn into these overwhelming obligations.
She outlines 4 foundational steps to kick off Christmas with real intentionality.
Okay, let's break them down. What's the first one?
The first step is, it sounds deceptively simple. Find out what's important to the family.
So just ask.
Just ask. It's about challenging the assumptions we carry around, especially about the big Christmas feast. We spend so much energy on dishes that everyone kind of tolerates but that nobody actually loves.
Hmm. The pumpkin cheesecake revelation really demonstrates the power of this, doesn't it?
It's a perfect example. So Lipp herself felt totally exhausted, trying to provide every single traditional dish her family had ever eaten.
Mm.
The menu was insane, the prep was huge, and she was miserable.
Sounds familiar.
Right. So she finally stopped assuming and just asked her adult children, what is the one thing that absolutely makes Christmas dinner feel like Christmas?
And what did they say?
The answer was unanimous and immediate. Roger's no-bake pumpkin cheesecake.
Go bake.
No bake. That was it. Not some complicated roast, not a dozen side dishes, just that one specific, easy dessert.
Wow.
And that single revelation allowed her to just immediately simplify the entire menu. The main meal became all about ease and other family favorites, but it was all centered around that one beloved cheesecake.
That is a spectacular example because it just shows how much mental and physical energy we waste on traditions that maybe no one, maybe not even us, genuinely values anymore.
The real favorite was the easy one. The key insight there is that tradition, if you don't examine it, is just pure clutter.
So true. Okay, what's step 2?
Step 2 takes that same question inward. Figure out what's important to you. We get so focused on what everyone else wants that we forget to ask ourselves what we want our own experience to be. So Lipp says you have to define your desired feeling. Do you want Christmas to feel peaceful, joyous, connected, comfortable?
And this is where that intentionality really has to translate into action, right? Because if you say your goal is a peaceful Christmas, but your calendar is still packed.
Exactly.
You're traveling to 5 different parties, you've committed to 16 kinds of cookies, you're staying up till 2 a.m. every night. Your plan is in direct conflict with your mission.
100%. The goal is no longer peace. It's become self-punishment. The intention has to set the boundary. So if you realize, that your love for baking ends after the 5th batch of sugar cookies, you stop there. You have to consciously let go of the activities that create stress no matter what.
Even if they're tradition.
Especially if they're tradition. This self-assessment is so critical.
Okay, that makes sense. Now we get practical, right? Step 3.
Yes. Step 3. Gather your Christmas stash. And she's very clear. This isn't just a suggestion. This is a project for early November.
Get it done early.
Get it all done early. Gather all your supplies now. Wrapping paper, bows, gift bags, ribbons, tissue paper, and the always elusive clear tape. And get them all into one designated, organized spot.
This is just fundamental organizational hygiene. It prevents that last-minute panic.
It totally does. The whole point is to eliminate that constant surprise of realizing you're missing something crucial, which then sends you out on a costly, time-sucking emergency shopping trip in the middle of the December rush.
Right when the stores are at their most chaotic.
The absolute worst time. So you make one comprehensive list of what you need today while you're calm, and you make sure you're fully stocked before the chaos hits.
Well, okay, that's smart. And the 4th step, this one tackles a different kind of clutter.
It does. It tackles the relational clutter that happens when one person ends up shouldering all the holiday labor. Make a list of how others can help.
I love the nuance here because it's not just about asking for help. It's about providing specific direction.
Yes. The story she shares about her husband Roger and the dishwasher is it's universally relatable.
Tell me.
She was just boiling with irritation, watching him stand near the kitchen while she's, furiously finishing emptying the dishwasher, wiping counters, managing the dogs.
But I can feel the tension.
You can, right? She finally snapped and asked him to put the silverware away. And he did it instantly.
Okay.
But when they talked about it later, his admission was the key. He honestly didn't notice that anything needed to be done. He said, I'm always willing to do this stuff, but sometimes I just don't think of it.
That is the fundamental difference, isn't it, between the planner and the participant?
Yeah.
The planner sees all the tiny micro tasks.
While the participant just sees the big picture, dinner is served, they don't see the 20 steps it took to get there. So the solution isn't silent resentment. It's directed, specific instruction. She says you should proactively make checklists for your Christmas prep and then strategically highlight tasks that can be handled by the non-planners.
So when a guest or a family member asks, how can I help? You don't freeze up.
You don't freeze. You have an answer ready. You can immediately assign a specific, non-critical task. Great. Could you please pick up a bag of ice on your way? We're completely out.
Or the celery for the stuffing needs chopping. Can you handle that right now?
Perfect. It empowers the helpers, and it saves the host an immense amount of wear and tear.
Okay, so with that foundation of intentionality laid, we have to address what is often the most draining clutter of all: relational and mental conflict.
Hmm. The holidays are an emotional hot zone. High expectations meet very complex family dynamics.
For sure. And the guide offers like a survivor's map for navigating this, which begins with some pretty radical honesty and communication.
Yeah, Lipp is unequivocal on this.
Yeah.
You have to tackle conflict early. Most holiday strife happens because people just engage in wishful thinking. They just hope things will just work out.
Right. If there's a recurring problem, like a difficult relative or a father-in-law whose comments always upset the kids.
Or managing an adult excessive drinking at a family party.
Mm.
You cannot wait until December 25th to deal with it.
Pushing off that difficult conversation basically guarantees that the conflict is going to erupt right in the middle of the celebration.
And it amplifies the stress by 1,000. So she strongly advocates addressing those hard topics with grace and clarity way before the holiday itself. Sit down on December 5th and say, I wanted to talk now, while we're both calm, about X before the family gathering.
Because my mission this year is focused entirely on peace.
Yes. Using that predetermined mission statement gives you a neutral spiritual anchor for the conversation. It frames the discussion around your shared goals, like peace or family connection, instead of specific accusations.
That proactive strategy feels like it could prevent the holiday from being hijacked by those predictable pitfalls.
It absolutely can. And another powerful strategy for avoiding this kind of clutter is what she calls the plans approach. This is perfect for complex, blended families or when you're juggling multiple invitations.
Yeah.
She tells the story of her stepdaughter, Amanda, who got engaged and suddenly had to navigate this incredibly complex holiday schedule.
I can only imagine.
Instead of trying to please every single family member across the whole holiday, which is, mathematically and emotionally impossible, Amanda just announced her pre-made plans.
So she just put it out there?
She just put it out there. She shared the dates and the details and basically said, here are the plans we've made. If you're able to join us, that's wonderful. If not, we totally understand and hope to catch you soon.
That is profound freedom. It removes the host's obligation to try and construct some perfect matrix of family happiness.
And it removes the guest's guilt or pressure to attend everything. It's about behaving in a healthy way, asserting control over your own time and space without trying to control how other people feel.
That clarity allows you to then adhere to what she identifies as this brutal but essential truth, the rule of three.
It is brutal, but it's so clarifying. It's borrowed from engineering, where you can have a product that is better, cheaper, and faster, but you can only pick two.
And the Christmas version is absolutely crushing, but also incredibly helpful. You can only pick 2 out of 3 for your holiday celebration.
The choices are traditional day, December 25th, the whole family together, or people be happy about it.
And you can only have 2.
You can only have 2. Trying to choose all 3, especially with blended families or long-distance travel or difficult in-laws, it inevitably means someone absorbs the cost.
And usually it's the host's physical and mental health that pays that price.
Always. For Lipp and Roger, the priority was clearly defined, having everyone together and having everyone be as happy as possible about it.
So they willingly sacrifice the third option, the traditional date.
Exactly. They often celebrate Christmas on the 26th, where they'll even shift Thanksgiving by a day.
Yeah.
That flexibility on the actual date is what maximizes their family togetherness and genuine happiness.
It's a huge realization that the sacred part isn't tied to the date on the calendar, but to the intentionality of the connection itself.
For sure. And, we can't really discuss conflict without talking about its main fuel, financial stress. Lipp connects budgeting directly to conflict. When money gets tight, the weeks leading up to Christmas become these intense, hot zone times for arguments.
Oh, absolutely. So setting a clear, agreed-upon budget early on and aligning expectations across the family about gift sizes or spending limits, that's crucial for peace.
It's non-negotiable for peace.
Okay, let's transition to the tangible tools that support all this intentionality, starting with our Project 1, creating your holiday mission statement.
Yes, and this is not just some feel-good exercise. It is the spiritual anchor for every single decision you make after this.
So how does it work?
It's a 10-minute exercise. That's it. Yeah. It's not a long essay. It's just about deciding what you want your Christmas to feel like and focus on this year. So she suggests brainstorming mission words: peace, joy, serve, reflect, connect, patience.
That intentionality really shifts the focus from external performance to your internal purpose.
It does. And the examples she provides show how adaptable and essential this anchor is in different seasons of life. Like in 2011, amid total chaos ministry, home, job, health issues, her mission was pure survival through seeking God's peace.
And her mission statement actually included a concrete goal.
Right. It did. It said, I will be done with my prep by December 20 so that I can experience peace during our celebration. It tied the spiritual goal to a practical deadline.
Then what about other years?
Well, then you look at 2012. That year was all about throwing off traditions that had just become habits and focusing intensely on closeness to God and family.
Yeah.
But the most profound example was 2014, after her father passed away in September. Grief was central. And the mission was to find joy in the midst of sorrow through the simplest celebration possible.
Wow.
3 gifts per child, a secret Santa exchange, and focusing all their energy on just sharing memories and loving each other.
That mission gave them permission. Permission to be simple, permission to grieve, and permission to just let go of anything that felt too heavy or required too much effort.
Yes. It proves that organization, when it's guided by a mission, is ultimately about grace.
So what's the application step? How do you keep it front of mind?
This is vital. You write that mission statement on index cards, and you put them where you can see them, on the fridge, taped to your computer monitor, clipped to your car visor.
So when you feel overwhelmed by a new demand or an invitation, you look at that card.
You look at the card and you ask, does this align with peace and reflection? Or does it align with frantic overcommitment? If it's the latter, you have your answer.
Okay, so the spiritual mission is set. Now we need the structure to support it. Project 2. The Christmas binder.
The binder. This is the physical safe place for all the holiday-related stuff that floats around.
It eliminates that mental clutter of trying to remember where you put that one specific recipe or the list of gifts you bought back in August.
Exactly. It's the single place for everything. And she details the essential sections you need to make this work efficiently.
Okay, let's build it. We obviously need a calendar section.
Of course. A section for Christmas cards and addresses.
A dedicated section for recipes and menus, but only the ones you actually use.
That's key. And a secret section for hiding places, listing where you've stashed the gift so you don't forget one.
I need that one.
Me too. Crucially, a section for gift lists, past and present, and a separate section for the budget.
And your favorite practical tip?
My favorite practical tip. Dedicate one of those plastic page protector sleeves for all receipts. Just one. This simple act means no more digging through crumpled paper in January trying to find the proof of purchase for the toy that broke on the 26th.
Or the wrong size sweater. Genius. And there's an essential clutter-free tip for making sure the binder stays useful year after year.
Yes, the annual purge.
Yeah.
Every year, you have to clear out the old stuff, get rid of the defunct Pinterest printouts, the old envelopes, the menu ideas that failed spectacularly 3 years ago.
So the binder serves Christmas past, present, and yet to come, but only if it stays relevant and clutter-free.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to tackling the 3 colossal time sinks that just dominate December: cards, scheduling, and shopping.
Big 3. We'll start with projects 3 and 4, cards and addresses.
First, I think we have to acknowledge the grace that's offered in Project 3, which is the Christmas card pass.
Yes. Lipp reminds us that sending a card is not a measure of your worth as a human being or as a Christian. If you're having a high-stress year, she cites a year with a huge book deadline, her mother's cancer diagnosis, and her own case of whooping cough all at once.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you get an automatic pass, no guilt.
That permission is so liberating. But if you do choose to send them, Project 3 is about selecting the photo. And this is where she contrasts the manufactured perfect photo with the one that's perfectly imperfect.
Right, the one that captures real life. She tells this great story of a family photo they took in the snow near Lake Tahoe. It was gorgeous, frame-worthy, except her daughter Kimber was clearly holding a bright orange ice scraper in the shot.
An ice scraper.
A bright orange one.
Yeah.
And she considered photoshopping it out, but then she realized the ice scraper captured the memory of almost being snowed in. It was a perfect picture, precisely because it held that imperfect memory.
So the goal is to capture candid moments, not manufactured perfection.
Exactly. Now, Project 4 tackles the mechanical nightmare of the addresses. The advice is to start today. Create a digital Christmas folder. Gather all your addresses and organize them into a clean Excel spreadsheet.
That centralized list is the key to pain-free production, whether you hand address them or use a mail merge.
For sure. And here's the high-impact, practical secret weapon that saves hours of misery. ordering stamps online.
Do not go to the post office.
Do not spend 45 minutes waiting in line at the post office to buy stamps. You can select the theme you want, pay for it online at USPS.com, and have them delivered right to your mailbox. That small step alone removes one of the most intense stressors of the holiday rush.
Okay, that's huge. Now, Project 5 shifts our focus to time management, scheduling fun, not just chores.
Yes. We are so prone to filling our calendars with essential tasks, shopping, baking, wrapping, that the fun, meaningful activities just slip away. We forget to block out time for getting the tree or family movie nights.
Or just driving around to look at the lights.
Right. So she urges us to pre-schedule those joyous connecting activities first. Put them on the calendar before anything else.
This project also requires a spiritual check, though, letting go of traditions that have lost their meaning.
This one's tough, but necessary. She gives this poignant example of a cute advent calendar she had, with 24 individual pockets, each designed to hold a little ragged trinket.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Hours of work.
Yeah.
And one day, she asked her 11-year-old son if he wanted to unwrap his surprise, and his response was deflating.
What did she say?
He asked, "Is there money in there?" "No." "Okay, then just let Kimmy do it."
Ouch.
A clear, painful signal that the tradition had become a burden for the giver and was totally irrelevant to the receiver.
So she put it away.
She put it away. She only revived it 7 years later for a younger niece. And this really emphasizes the importance of limiting some of the kid activities and making sure you keep, a couple at-home nights every week in December for needed rest.
Okay, now let's get into the gifts. Project 6, get your gift list together, which addresses the tension between wanting to surprise someone and wanting to truly delight them.
Yes, and it's centered around this idea of radical transparency. It all goes back to her daughter Kimber's gift-receiving anxiety. She confessed that she hated the pressure of having to feign intense delight over a gift that wasn't quite right.
I think a lot of people feel that.
A ton of people do. The emotional relief in the solution is immense. Kimber now just provides her mom with a list of links to items she genuinely wants.
So the surprise is gone, but the delight is guaranteed.
Exactly. Lipp's quote is, "I'm not about surprise, but I'm all about delight." The goal shifts from guessing what someone wants to ensuring they receive a gift they truly love and will actually use.
And she offers some great advanced strategies to control the gift chaos, too.
Oh, yeah. The limit the list concept is a fantastic boundary for managing expectations, especially for kids. One spiritual gift, like a devotional, one clothing gift, and one fun gift. That immediately stops the accumulation of a massive amount of clutter.
And for big extended families.
For large families where the gift exchange feels like this huge financial and logistical drain, she highly recommends the extended family swap using a tool like elfster.com.
How does that work?
It automatically assigns who you're buying for, and crucially, people can put links to exactly what they want. That's priceless when you're buying for relatives you don't see every day.
That's brilliant. We also need to talk about prioritizing non-clutter gifts.
Absolutely. For the people who already have too much stuff, charitable giving is a beautiful way to honor them. Donate in their name to a cause they care about. A World Vision goat, the local food bank, an animal shelter.
Or experiences.
Experiences are huge. A promised date night, an offer to rebuild the front stairway, a house cleaning service, or even digital gifts like audiobooks or apps.
Okay, and within the gift section, she presents what might be my favorite idea of all. The cookie dough exchange.
It's pure genius, right?
It's so smart. A traditional cookie exchange can be so overwhelming.
It really can. The advantages of a CDE are so clear. You don't end up with dozens of cookies going stale right before Christmas. You get great recipes, and you get to spread the joy out over time, baking fresh cookies in January or February when you actually want them.
Okay, walk me through the mechanics, because they seem important.
They're critical for success. You prepare your dough, you portion it out into small balls or logs, and then you flash freeze it first.
Flash freeze.
Yeah, you lay them out on a cookie sheet in the freezer for about an hour so they don't stick together. Once they're frozen solid, you package the portions in Ziploc bags.
And the most important part.
The absolutely essential instruction is to write the baking directions, including the time and temperature specifically for frozen dough. Write a Ziploc bag with a permanent marker. This transfers the effort from the receiver to the giver, and it maximizes the joy.
That is just a fantastic idea. All right, let's talk about money. Project 7, what's your budget?
The goal here is simple. Eliminate the financial hangover of January. That crushing feeling of debt that follows the buy now, pay later mentality of December. Financial peace is foundational to emotional peace.
And intentionality is the key, which means listing everything.
Everything. You have to sit down and itemize all the categories that Christmas consumes, and it goes way beyond just gifts and food.
Right, you've got clothes for events, donations, shipping costs, hosting costs.
Extra utilities, wrapping supplies, office parties, teacher gifts. The objective isn't to set some arbitrary number. It's to make sure you're not surprised at the end of the month by all the expenses you didn't account for.
So to combat that budget clutter, she suggests actively eliminating entire categories or finding trade-offs.
Yeah. Can you skip cards this year? Can you send digital gift cards instead of paying $20 to ship a physical gift across the country?
Or, if you're hosting a meal, asking guests to contribute specific dishes.
Exactly. It's not about being cheap. It saves you $10 to $20 per item, and it makes guests feel more involved. It aligns perfectly with that idea of shared labor we talked about earlier.
And this intentional spending leads directly to a really profound spiritual movement that was highlighted by her readers.
The Advent conspiracy. This movement challenges people to refocus their spending away from excessive stuff and toward experiences and charity.
It's a spiritual realignment.
It really is. It's choosing to spend money on clean water projects or local poverty relief instead of on another gadget someone doesn't need. It turns the act of buying into an act of worship and social justice.
Wow. Okay, from finances to the kitchen, which, as we've learned, is a source of intense stress. Projects 14 and 19 focus on meal prep for sanity.
And we have to pause here to reflect on the cautionary tale of the 12 appetizers disaster.
Oh, this story's amazing.
Lipp recounts hosting Christmas Eve dinner, and she'd asked various relatives to bring a few appetizers or snacks. She also made a few herself, thinking it would be a light start to the meal. The result was a dozen sprawling appetizers, covering every single surface. And after hours of grazing on them, not one person ate a single bite of the planned, labor-intensive Christmas dinner she had made.
That is a permanent warning against the ambiguity of delegation. You have to be specific.
You have to. If you ask for help, ask for a small tray of deviled eggs, not a few snacks.
So beyond that, she stresses minimizing everyday cooking fatigue through what she calls elope meals.
Leftovers on purpose. This is all about planning for necessity. Project 19 involves sitting down and planning every single meal from now until Christmas Day.
This avoids the cereal days.
It avoids the cereal days, the takeout binges, and the last-minute grocery runs that happen when the primary planner is distracted by holiday prep. LOP just means you double a recipe in early December, so you can freeze one portion for a chaotic week later on.
Or turning Thanksgiving leftovers into specific planned meals.
Yes, soups or casseroles. And for the main event, especially if you just hosted a major traditional Thanksgiving, she recommends simplifying Christmas dinner by picking a completely different theme.
Like a pizza fondue night.
Or a simple crab boil. Or lasagna.
Oh.
It just keeps the complexity low and avoids the burnout that comes from trying to do 2 massive traditional roasts in 4 weeks.
Okay, now for maybe the most important project of all, self-preservation. Project 16 is refresh yourself.
This is about insisting that you schedule a much-needed pause. You cannot pour from an empty cup, especially during the emotional demands of the holidays.
And this comes from a deeply personal place for her, right?
It does. She described one day where she tried to cram gift shopping, grocery shopping, post office trips, delivering muffins, and working all into one insane, ambitious day.
I'm stressed just hearing that.
She hit a wall, she had a massive meltdown, and snapped disproportionately at her husband, Roger.
And he recognized it right away.
He recognized the burnout instantly. His immediate solution was to just sit her down for another marathon night.
That's what she needed.
She needed that break to reset and bring good Kathi back. So Lipp insists that you must schedule you time, a bubble bath, 30 minutes of mindless Pinterest browsing, a long walk, or just sitting silently by the tree to think and pray. You have to protect that downtime.
And as a bonus project, she focuses on the relationship that is so often neglected during the frenzy, the spouse priority.
Yes, Project 8. This grew out of their red gifts, tradition, special, intentional items wrapped in red paper that they exchanged privately.
But she had a realization about that.
She realized she was saving all her intentional acts of love for one single day. But her husband needed that pouring in constantly, not just once a year.
So the project encourages weekly intentional acts of love throughout December.
Exactly. A stress-relieving massage, cooking his favorite meal unprompted, taking care of a chore he hates, writing an encouraging note. It just ensures the spouse feels prioritized and seen amidst the chaos.
Okay, finally, let's talk about efficiency in that final push. Project 17 focuses on shipping.
And eliminating the infamous post office line dread. Once again, the secret weapon is USPS.com. You can use their online guide to print labels, pay for postage, and then schedule a priority mail pickup at your house the next day.
Or you can just drop off pre-labeled, prepaid boxes without ever getting in that long line.
Yes. The goal is simple. Get through shipping day without a panic attack.
And Project 18, Get Online, celebrates the revolutionary efficiency of digital shopping.
Amazon Prime has just fundamentally changed the game. It takes you from rushing out in a panic to just clicking a button in your pajamas.
And using specialized sites is key.
Absolutely. Zulily for deals, Zappos for free shipping and returns, Retail Me Not for coupon codes. These are essential tools. And if you completely forget someone, the digital gift card delivered instantly on Christmas morning is the ultimate deadline solution.
So we've reached the culmination. Project 21, your personalized special project. This is the time you've reclaimed through all this organization.
And it's not to fill it with more chores. It's to use it for something truly meaningful, something you've long delayed.
Lipp's own example was creating a personalized playlist of favorite childhood Christmas music for her kids.
Yeah, from the tapes and CDs they were so attached to, from years of car rides. It was time-consuming, but it was deeply meaningful. And because all the other prep was done and the chaos was minimized, she actually had the time and the mental space to do it.
So we're encouraging you to select your one thing. Plan that caroling outing you always talk about, or make a specific personalized gift, or arrange a unique holiday date night.
Exactly. Organization is just the mechanism to focus your time on creation and connection and spiritual reflection rather than on consumption and frantic preparation.
But the organization doesn't end on December 25th, does it?
It does not. The guide provides the essential cleanup map, the 5-day Christmas put away, which is all about preparing for Christmas yet to come.
And while the timing of taking down the tree is, as she calls it, a highly personal decision,
And a potential source of marital conflict.
the structural cleanup is universal.
Exactly. Day 1 is inventory. Before you pack anything away, take a quick tally of what needs replacing. Lights that are out, wrapping supplies you used up, broken decorations.
And the genius step is to immediately write that list on next year's calendar, specifically on a date in September or October.
Right, because you'll remember what you need when the supplies are 50% off on December 26th, and you'll have the list ready for next year's planning.
Okay, what about days 2 and 3?
That's paper and decor. This is about maximizing reuse. Save sturdy shipping boxes for storage, create clear labels for your bins, and leave detailed notes to your future self.
Like, don't buy new white lights, you have 5 boxes of them.
Please do that. And crucially, this is the time to sort through unused decor. If you haven't used it in 3 years, set it aside for donation now before you pack away clutter for another 12 months.
Day 4 is update your binder. This is that Christmas past, present, and yet to come moment.
Yes, update the recipe section immediately. Note that the new Rachel Ray roast chicken was the bomb, or that the reindeer cake pops were a total disaster.
And most critically, update the address list while all the cards and return address labels are still fresh in your hand.
Don't wait until next November to try and remember who moved.
And day 5.
Day 5 is returns and exchanges. Gather all the wrong sizes, the duplicate gifts, the items you received but don't need. Get them out of the house. Clearing them out immediately prevents them from becoming 3-year dust collectors.
It's incredible to see how these 21 projects, when you follow them, create a system where the organization actively safeguards the meaningful parts of the holiday.
That's it. The organization is the tool, but the goal is the spiritual and relational harvest.
So what's the essential distilled takeaway from all this?
Organization is not the destination. It is a tool to safeguard the sacred focus of the season. When you create and stick to your Christmas mission statement, you are actively choosing joy and peace and presence over the merciless demands of external expectation. You're saying that cultural pressure doesn't get the final say.
So what final actionable thought should we leave the listener with today? Something for them to mull over.
Rip gave us a powerful, provocative spiritual challenge, she wrote. Tradition can be a merciless slave driver.
A merciless slave driver.
Wow. Think about that phrase carefully. We all have them. What is one specific tradition? A cookie, a party, a complicated decoration, a specific obligation that you are holding on to this year purely out of obligation or fear that someone will be disappointed. How can the intentional faith-centered choice to let that one single thing go create immediate space for God's peace in your life this season. That freedom is the ultimate clutter-free gift you can give yourself and your family today.